Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for assisting to this forum. Yes, so I will do just a brief presentation about this project. It's called iClerk, Intelligent Clerk. It's a human-robot interaction by natural language processing. And I work in the service robots department for ITRI. The outline of my presentation will be the main technologies that we have researched for this project. I will tell a bit about the specific features that we have developed and some potential applications that can be further developed. So the first thing is the main technologies. So we have tried to implement something like a mini market where you have an interface that you have something like a chatbot that you can interact with. And you can ask questions about some products that are placed on a shelf. You can ask some questions and you can request for a specific product. And the interface will interact with the user and it will command a robot to perform specific tasks. So for this show, we have implemented these main technologies. The speech to text or and text to speech. This is a part of the of this implementation. This technology is actually now is let's say is kind of already developed, and you can find it in many applications now. I would say the main challenge for this application is to have something that is effective, that is reliable, and that is not so hardware that it doesn't have a high cost in hardware. So it's a bit important to develop applications that you can run with as low consumption of hardware as possible. So that's the challenge there. But it's important to it will be important to develop something that can work in multi languages. So that's the challenge there. For the robot control with natural language, basically what we try to provide is the ability to control the robot by language, by human language, rather than specific commands. So for example, traditionally, we could probably say something like to the robot, we could order run the mission number 3, something like this, but this is difficult to understand for a human. So we have tried to implement, instead of running a specific command, we can say something like retrieve the product from the left side of the shelf, something which is more easy for the human to say. Then we try to somehow close the gap between the humans and robots. We also use some vision algorithms. In this case, we use something that is called text-to-image predictions. I will tell a bit more about this later. But the idea is that we will have a list of text descriptions of different products, and we basically capture an image. In this case, a bottle of milk, and we can somehow match the image with the text descriptions, and we can find which one is the best match. And I will explain this later. And I think the most the one of the biggest highlights of our of this project is the large language models, which are very famous right now and very hot topic in research. The large language models provide different abilities for the robot. For example, one thing is the ability to understand the context, which is very important to. We can provide a specific context for the model to operate in specific conditions and to use a specific data. Also, it has the ability to understand questions in natural language, so like in human language, which is something that that right now is really really impressive. The results that have been achieved, and is growing. Basically, it's one of the hot topics right now. And also, it has the ability to generate a reasonable response for the human to understand. So the main things that we have tried to implement are the Q&A, like basically we ask a question, the LLM will do some processing, some reasoning, and it will emit an answer. For this, we need to use a document retrieval, which means we have a specific information that we will pass to the LLM, and it will only use this information to reason, and based on this information will generate the response. And we have developed something like a chatbot interaction for the users to interact with this large language model. Okay. So I will talk a bit about the specific features that we have developed. This is for the large language model. This is a very simplified graphic of how the large language model works. This is how we have implemented for our demonstration. So we have a customized prompt, which is basically a set of instructions for the model on how to receive the input from the user, then how to structure this information, which context to use, which information, how to structure the output, the response for the user. And this one also has some examples of how will be a question from the user and the possible reply, and also some constraints. So I will say the current technology that is available nowadays allows us to customize the way that the LLM model works for a specific application. Then we will have an input question from a human user. For example, what drinks do you have available? And this question will pass through the framework of the large language model. And we use something called the retriever, a retriever. Basically, what it will do is, based on the question from the user, it will search in a database the most relevant information related to the question. It will retrieve it and it will structure it in some specific format, and it will pass it to the brain, let's say, of the LLM. Then, with the customized prompt, with the question, and with the specific information, the LLM can do some reasoning or follow some chain of thoughts, and it will emit a response. For example, the available drinks are, and it can list the available drinks that were found in the database. One of the advantages of using this implementation is that we are able to use a specific data that is private or personal into a specific application, which I would say years ago was not possible and was not it was not even thinkable. Let's say this technology is advancing quite fast, and the results that we can see are quite impressive. Actually, I'm pretty sure everybody has used the ChatGPT, which is probably the biggest example. So this technology is basically, I could say the same as ChatGPT, same technology, but applied in a specific application, which is like a mini market. And yeah, so the main features are, as I said before, basically a question answering chatbot with personalized data, which allow us to have a precise information retrieval, and we can use customized prompt to process the human request, and we can structure the output in a specific format. And another thing to highlight is that the LLM is able to process multi-language information. So even in our demo, you can try to speak in different languages, and it's able to understand and reply in the language that the question was asked. The next one is the text description to image. This is a part of a visual language model, which is another area of AI. Just to briefly introduce the idea, basically we will have a list of text descriptions of different products. For example, a bottle of water, a bottle of milk. This could be a little more descriptive. For example, we could say this image can be described as a glass bottle of milk with a white lid in a shelf in a mini market, something like this. And these text descriptions can be encoded into text features. And then with a camera, we can take a picture, and this can be encoded into image features. And then we have the deep learning model, which is basically is pre-trained to compare these text features and image features and find the relationship between them. And what the output of this model is a set of predictions for each one of the text descriptions, it will throw a prediction for the image, and then we will basically grab the one that has the highest score. So one important thing to note here is that the data or the products are not previously trained by the model. We don't need to do any type of annotation or any type of fine-tuning or labeling. Somehow the model has some understanding of general objects, which allows us to actually introduce new products without the need to retrain the model, let's say. And this model can be able to recognize new products that are not in the database, general products that are not in the database. So that's one of the main features, the automatic update of inventory data by finding the text description that best describes the image of a product. We can also detect the empty spots, which is useful in the mini market, and it will be further developed to automatically refill those empty spots. As I said, we can detect new products that are not listed in the database. And another step we can do is we take a picture and we could generate a text description of the image as a new product, and we could automatically add it to the database. Yeah, so that's the main idea within this part of the visual language model. And then the the other thing that we need to highlight in our show, in our demo, is that we can control the robot arm from the natural language. In the case of our show, we have predefined tasks for the robot, such as retrieve and refill the shelf or update the inventory. That for example, we can tell the robot retrieve. Here we have, for example, an image of a Coke. We can say, please give me the Coke, and the robot will retrieve the Coke for the user. Because right now it's a demo, we only have like just these two categories of robot motion. But ideally, any predefined task that the robot can execute could be implemented to be run from a human language command. So I could see that there is a lot of potential with this with the merge between AI and robots, because I would say for there's a bridge or a gap between how robot is programmed, but how a user can operate the robot. But with the use of large language models, it would be easier for a user to say more natural things to control the robot. So as I said, we have execution of predefined automated robotic tasks. We also have fast integration for robotic applications because the language model can be customized to execute any robotic tasks. And this can not only be applied to robotic arms, it could be applied to any mechanized or robotic system that has basically an interface that we could introduce the commands from the LLM. Okay, and finally, the potential applications that this technology can provide are mostly, I will say, are projected to robot services like care robots or home service robots, museum guided robots. And then you can see some applications already running that actually could be useful when you have some interaction with the robot. So for instance, you could maybe in the house you could say something like, please robot, I don't know, open the door, or I will say for someone that has some vision problems could be quite useful to even to help to move around the house, something like that. So this technology has potential applications in many disciplines and cross domains, and I'm pretty sure it will keep growing in the coming years. And I will say that the technology that is in our reach, even open source models and open source code that we can grab is even evolving more and more. So I would say we are still touching the tip of the iceberg. The technology seems to be growing faster and faster every day. So yeah, we have tried to highlight the most recent developments within AI and within large language models and visual language models with offshore. I think that's it. Thank you.